Sticking with Fox and Marvel movies, Fantastic Four opens in theaters this weekend. I'm excited for this, guys. I know that there's been a lot of back and forth. There's been rumors of a disastrous time on set, of like crazy reshoots. Everything that they've shown me, I've been down with. From hearing from Simon Kinberg and Josh Trank, the director, they're talking about the spin that they were taking of almost like a Cronenberg kind of movie, of almost like that sci-fi horror of your body kind of fighting itself and mutating, and almost like whatever power you have is almost a curse.
A Brundle fly
sort of thing, right? Or even like scanners and stuff like that. And that if they're taking that tone, it's like, yeah, I'm down with that. And you look on paper, director Josh Trank did Chronicle. I love Chronicle.
Yeah,
right?
It's great film.
All the staff, all the cast, great. Especially the guy that plays Johnny Storm. He's in the new Creed movie. What's his name? Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, great in Chronicle as well. Miles Teller, really great in Whiplash. Kate Mara, I loved her in House of Cards.
Yeah, she's great. First season.
All the trailers I thought looked really good. They had a good tone. Tony Kebbell, I love Tony Kebbell. He's Doom. I'm down with everything, but something that's kind of a big red flag is that Fox has not let any of the media see this thing pretty much right up until 48 hours before the movie comes out, or 24 hours before the movie comes out. Normally, I think the week ahead of time, media gets invited, either to premieres or sneak previews, stuff like that, so you get to come with the buzz going. There's no buzz because they didn't let anybody see anything until pretty much the 11th hour. Normally, when a studio does that, it means they got a name,
writing on the name,
or they just got a big turd and they don't want word to get out that it's
right. Exactly. So they write on the name.
That's like telling a girl you have a big dick the whole night, and then when you're gonna go have sex with her, you turn off all the lights. No, don't touch my penis.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's good. I don't have a lot riding on it. It's not like.
That's the whole thing.
It's not like I'm one of those guys that are all butthurt that Johnny Storm is black. I never really read the comics. I know I saw the show where they actually replaced Johnny Storm with that fucking robot.
Robbie.
Yeah, remember that? Because they thought kids were gonna light themselves on fire, fly around. So I'm good. I just want to see a good.
I can put my arm back on it. You can't.
Oh yeah. I lived for those little commercials when I was a kid.
I am Astar, a robot. I can put my arm back on. You can't. So play safe.
It was like before Sesame Street. You're like, that was dark. I liked it.
That was like great looking special effects.
I know. I was like, why don't we make shows of this? Can I see a show of this guy? I'll watch this guy do all kinds of stuff.
They should play this in between Beast Machines and Reboots.
This is the thing about Fantastic Four. The first initial Fantastic Four, and I'm not talking about the crappy B movies that ever came out and blah blah blah, but the first one when it was like Michael Chiklis and whatever, that worked because it was just starting the whole Marvel universe.
Yeah,
it was
the beginning of that era.
Spider-Man, and then you just saw the second X-Men, and this could work, right? Then I watched the trailer for Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, and I'm like, this is amazing. And I was sold, and then I watched it, and I'm like, flip the fucking table. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm done. When I first heard that they're rebooting this series, I'm like, okay,
let's fix
then
this.
I'm like, okay, Michael B. Jordan, that's great. And it's not because I'm biased or anything. I like Michael B. Jordan.
I'm a fan.
But then I watched the trailer, and I saw the thing, and he looks like the monster that got his ass whooped by Thor in Dark World. And I'm just like, no. And then I heard his voice.
I was thinking of the Never-Ending Story, The Rock.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Strong.
Now it's like, now I'm just, and then I hear his voice, and it's just, he's talking like he's a normal, he's like, yeah guys, well, I gotta, we gotta do this, and
Well, his larynx
I need a
is
Michael
wrong.
Chiklis, because, you know, in the cartoon, it was like that, you know, you just sound like that. But, like, I'm not too impressed, whatever, we'll watch it.
I think for me, they're trying to appeal to a young audience a bit too much. Mr. Fantastic is supposed to try to hold is a linchpin. He is very big in the Marvel world as a respected and renowned scientist.
Him and Stark and Osborn are always colluding
up there, right? Exactly. This guy is like 19. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Just
they weren't young, yeah.
I mean, just the look. I understand that. It's just that like the look is a bit off. When you're talking about Mr. Fantastic, you're talking about stretch. You're talking about white hair on the sides, you know what I mean? You're talking about you're talking about an iconic figure. You changed it a bit too much in terms of the age and the dynamic that's going to be thrown off between, because he was the leader, because he was a bit older and wiser. What you're supposed to have is he's the young gun, she's mildly young. Here you're supposed to have a very rough character already in Ben Grimm, right? And you're supposed to have, he naturally is supposed to have a gruff, dark, seedy demeanor and voice before he's even the thing. Yeah. So imagine with all this stuff on him, he's...
I'll agree with you guys that I like the look of the thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't need it to be symmetrical. Like, there were some people online when this image first came up, like, he's not symmetrical. You can't see the stone eyebrows.
Yeah.
Okay, fuck off. He's a rock.
I like that. I don't mind.
He looks like a mean rock monster.
He's supposed to be mutated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What did... And, you know, people are like, he doesn't have pants. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm good with that, right?
Yeah,
as long as
who
it's
cares?
like fake-ass rock monster's fine. What I did get thrown off of is your point with the voice. Because I think maybe in the third trailer, we actually finally got to hear the thing, Ben Grimm speak, but as the thing. And it threw me off, because it almost sounded like a child's voice.
Yeah.
And I was expecting that. You know, I mean, your larynx is stone. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's what's supposed to be your voice. If anything, if anyone is supposed to have this stereotically gravelly voice,
Should be the guy with
it's going to be the guy who's made of gravel.
It really makes sense.
That one scene threw me off. I'm hoping it's just the scene that they chose. Like,
You're
it's a
very
somber scene.
hopeful. Very
Yeah.
hopeful.
I'm hoping he's going to do it. So it's clobber.
You're going to hope in other iterations his lyrics will become more dense and his voice will deepen.
I also hope for a badass silver samurai. In that I'm okay with the age, man. I'm good with it, right? I mean, especially you know, and we, you know, I think this is happening in present era, and you know, the X-Men movie. Since you know, down the line, the hope is to kind of merge
everything together.
Fox to merge all their properties together, right? Going I'm good with it, right? And you know, the suits are kind of cool. They're you know, but you can't do what you did before, and what they did before, they stuck. I think as far as much I know the traditional Fantastic Four, the kind of campiness, the goofiness.
Yeah.
They did that. You know, it could have been done better, but you know, it was kind of lame, right? We're in a different. I love hard sci-fi kind of stuff.
We're
sci-fi.
We're a different.
I'm hoping for it. I'm going in with a total open mind, and you know, with no.
I think I'll enjoy it. I just think I would have enjoyed it a bit more had they just tweaked it a little bit here and there to be a bit truer to what it's supposed to be.
You want to see them more mature? Yeah.
A bit more mature with Mr. Fantastic, just because he's just so iconic. It's like if you were to have Stark and he was running Stark Enterprises at the age of 20. It's like, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? But you know, maybe a bit more mature and wizened on their parts. This is fine, whatever. I mean, the iconic Johnny Storm is the brother and sister duo. That's a great dynamic. Whatever. I mean, in the Ultimate World, especially you're throwing. There was definitely a race inequity, which is what they're doing. So I don't mind this, and I think it's cool that it's not he's the one who's adopted. She is. I think that's great. Yeah. That voice that's got to go. A little older, and then we're in a bit more business. I'll enjoy it either way.
I think that's probably interesting to mention. You know, we're getting into rumors and things like that, but it's fun to talk.
Yeah,
right? We're superhero fans. We follow all this kind of shit. There were Josh Trank, director of Chronicle, director of this. He was lined up to direct one of the Star Wars anthology films, right? And then the Star Wars Celebration came around. He tweeted out that he was sick, he couldn't make it. And then a few weeks later, word came out that he was pretty much taken off the project. So if you enjoy rumors and conjecture, one thing you could say, you could say that maybe someone, you know, word was getting around on Fox that he wasn't doing a good job. though the folks over at Lucasfilm / Disney are like, yeah, maybe this guy's not our guy for these films. Let's kind of move
Sever
on.
the tie
sever
now.
the ties,
Yeah.
right? And then you have that plus the whole fact of Fox not letting, not releasing the film early for the media to see ahead of time, like only holding it until about 48 hours ahead of time. I don't know. You could say.
Yeah.
You could say there's something there.
There's definitely they're not going by protocol in any of this, but again, it's conjecture at this point in time. We'll get to it. From what I've seen so far, and that's all we can base on this is it looks interesting. It looks interesting. We know that. Come on, when it comes down to it, like, who are executives to really know when there's a turd out there? Anyways, they release,
all the time.
they release them continuously. So, what might be poor in their eyes might do great to the audience.
Yeah,
right?
exactly right.
So it's hard to say.
Well, I'm sure we'll all go check it out as soon as we can. We'll hook back up next week, give you guys the full review, and I'm hoping it's positive because I would really love to see one of these superhero genres go hard sci-fi and a real cool.
And just for the possibility of down the road intermingling the cinematic universe and the Fox universe.
So much potential
would be amazing. Just because the more we can intertwine these characters, I think the more we can develop characters and really get invested in characters.
Yeah. Especially when you start, we can do Galactus right. Especially if you get the X-Men together. Galactus.
Here's a question for you, just a random
Yeah.
question. How would you, because you were talking about him being a geisha entity you didn't enjoy, how would you guys do Galactus? If you were to, like, for a movie like this, how would you do Galactus? Do you make him the guy with the giant top hat with the horns and the 3D glasses and the tunic? Like, what would your renditions of Galactus look like?
Interesting. Well, I mean, I'd have to think a little bit longer at that, but we did get a glimpse because in Guardians of the Galaxy, nowhere is a celestial head.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's kind of where you start. So the idea of these space giants, we're all kind of cool with that.
Yeah.
You have to tone down the headgear for sure, but and again, so far the folks at Fox aren't the best at it. Folks at Marvel are.
Yes.
Of taking what you would think would be a ridiculous fucking outfit and. Comparing, and even just, like, folks at Marvel do really good decisions, right? Like the Thor outfit and everything in Asgard looks great.
Yes.
Right. Even Loki's helmet looks great.
Yeah.
And then Thor wore the helmet for a little while, then he doesn't fight with it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And they nailed Vision out of the park.
Oh, it was great.
Right. Because Vision could have gone so bad and so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he looked incredible.
He did.
Right. Fox doesn't have necessarily that good of a run at averaging it, but if you could take, I think if you take the comic book style of it and you just tone it down a little bit.
But like, forget the companies. What would you see? What do you see as
Galactus? A giant space alien with a giant ship.
Yeah.
He's flying around the ship, and most
ship.
of what you see is the ship, rather than him just being like a Unicron.
And then so he feeds on planets. How
the ship, it would go into compartments and it would build a bigger machine and you'll still have the chair, so it'll like deconstruct. You still have the chair, and it feeds. So it'll take like when it was doing in Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, where there was like these kind of tentacles, but not like that. Just
I remember. Yeah,
they're just it'll take natural resources and it'll just start sucking it up and feeding it, and then combining it.
I'm getting Unicron when you say that, though.
And then he's not bothered to get up out of the chair until he really has to go and start fighting. Right? And then he'll come out and fight, and then could look similar to that. It depends on how big you want to go. I mean, if you made him super giant. I mean, I'm thinking, who was that one robot in Thor, the first Thor? What's that thing called?
Robot in Thor.
Oh, the thing that was forged.
Oh,
the weapon. Yeah. No, I know.
Obviously, you're not going to go blank like that, but that kind of size. I thought the Sentinels looked really good.
Yeah, the Sentinels were a
in
decent
Days of
size.
Future Past,
I like that as a comparable size. Like they were big enough that they were obviously intimidating,
Yeah.
but they weren't so large that you couldn't see somebody with a chance against them. Like all you want is like a 10% chance
Yeah.
that you could
Good.
you could
Because if you make
overcome
Galactus
it.
the same size as that celestial head in
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, that's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah,
Because
you
then he
won't
would
be-
literally be bigger than the Earth.
you can't overcome that. Yeah, it's just
Like he could just fucking thunderclap the Earth and
Yeah.
you're done. So I don't think you can go. You got to tone that down a bit.
See,
or hey, a poo cloud.
yeah.
Cloud the color of shit. That's good too. Let's do it up again in 3D.
See, I thought like in my mind, my logic says if it were a space being that devours planets, it would have to be not necessarily that, but something not necessarily humanoid. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it's this sentient creature that travels through space and then feeds on planets. It might look it might look different. It might look odd. That's what my mind.
like
That's what my
almost
logic says.
insect or
Oh, I don't know. Like it could be something as ambiguous as like a nebula
or an amoeba
or like a something like an imploded star. You know what I mean? But that's my logic. Because if it's going through space, but what I want actually for the heart would be something like that. Something passively humanoid in form.
Yeah.
Passively, but not skin or anything like that. Just something perhaps passively humanoid, not even necessarily with hands that we would recognize, but something like that might be interesting. We'll see. So we'll see
He has to have a physical form.
Yeah, it would be good to have some kind of physical form, even though logically, with all scientific logic, it would probably be something like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or make him 5'6" and orange.
Yeah.